Welcome back to County Connection. For our second segment of this April episode, we're going to be talking about opportunities for financial assistance with wildfire mitigation projects. And here to enlighten us is Dan Schroeder from Summit County CSU Extension. Welcome, Dan.
Good morning, Julie. Thank you.
All right, Dan, you are one of our favorites here in the SCTV studio, a regular, I might say.
I'm not afraid. Getting on TV is good stuff.
Good. I'm glad you think so, because you have always great information to share with us about ways to protect our homes and businesses and infrastructure from wildfire. And specifically, we're here to talk about the grant programs that Summit County offers related to wildfire mitigation. So what are these programs all about?
The county has money, and they would love to help you do fuel mitigation. We say fuel, but that would really be cutting down tree branches, maybe trees themselves. And so we're going to remove things that can burn from your land. When I said the county has money, there were a number of years ago, there was a measure put before voters, and they approved it. So it was a voter-approved measure that provided some funding to allow the CSU Extension Office, as the grant administrator, to allow these grants to occur. So we have a program where homeowner groups who get together and develop a plan would be eligible for a 50% reimbursement on their overall cost of protecting their communities, really.
Okay. And so what are the strategies you're looking for in terms of wildfire mitigation? What are the types of projects that really up the level of protection or reduce risk?
So really, we talk about how most of us live in the wildland-urban interface. Mm-hmm. And this is a place where our homes are either adjacent to or within trees. Mm-hmm. We live in the forest in Summit County.
And we're surrounded by it.
And we're surrounded by the forest. So I often talk about pushing the forest back. Now, if one landowner were to push the forest back, create defensible space, that might look good, but if a wildfire were to come through that neighborhood, you know that
the person next door hasn't done it.
All the neighbors, right. So we're looking for a contiguous fuel modification throughout neighborhoods.
Okay.
That's the name of the game.
Okay. So these grants really focus on kind of that neighborhood scale. We've talked about on County Connection before the chipping program, which helps people kind of on the individual property owner scale. But these projects for which people might apply for grants are really looking at kind of that neighborhood collective effort.
The whole neighborhood. I might call it a little bit more robust.
Uh-huh.
The chipping program is branches and what you might be able to pull off on a weekend kind of thing. And this is really a planned effort where you would engage and recruit your neighbors. There might be a point person in the neighborhood, and we're looking for multiple homes that would get together and provide a financial contribution. So the homeowner of the neighborhood would pay for the entire program, and then the county reimburses at that point up to 50% of the cost. So ultimately, it's a great cost offset for neighborhoods to really engage in this fire-wise behavior.
Excellent. So you talk about clearing some of that flammable vegetation, so trees, doing that defensible space work, kind of increasing the distance between structures and the forest. But that's not the only type of project. So what's the other category of projects?
So this is really great that you bring that up. So we have fuel reduction, and so that's trees, tree branches, vegetation. The other grant program, or within the same realm of grants, is everything else you can think of that's wildfire prevention. So our really outstanding example are neighborhoods that don't have municipal water supply for firefighting. Okay. So they don't have hydrants. And these would be neighborhoods on wells for the most part.
Okay.
So cistern installation is something that the Board of County Commissioners through this grant program has supported in 4 different neighborhoods throughout Summit County. So we have this great opportunity to create a wildfire water firefighting scenario in these neighborhoods, which is really pretty expensive.
Sure.
A really robust system could get up to $100,000. So on that program, depending on how much funding is still available in the pot, we have a sliding scale of a 50-50 contribution out to a 90%, with homeowners paying 10%, depending on the scope, scale, and impact that something like a cistern installation could have for a neighborhood. A few other examples include signage. So many of our neighborhoods either have poor signage or it would be on wood backdrops, possibly flammable signage.
Okay.
And so this would be for wayfinding.
Right, so if your sign is flammable, it's going to be hard for the fire agencies to navigate to the right place.
So we're helping with navigation. So we could help support highly reflective, flame-resistant metal kind of signage throughout neighborhoods, and egress. If there were a bridge in a neighborhood that wasn't rated to handle the weight of a firefighting truck, for instance, a rig, we could potentially entertain reinforcing bridges.
Okay.
So this kind of thing is all within the scope of our wildfire prevention grants program.
All right, fantastic. So talk to me a little bit about eligibility and application. So what's that process like?
Super, and that's what I'm holding here. So we have a pre-application that we require homeowner groups to submit. And this is really helping them be successful. So we want to initiate a conversation with potential applicants so that when they go through that application process, we're with them along the way. This is a trail that we're hiking together so that we can help them submit a successful application that would be easy for the Wildfire Council and the county managers to review.
Right.
And so we've got you need to notify your neighboring property owners. You need to recruit property owners and have people commit to a financial contribution to the program. Let's see here. We need to have people create, submit, and enact a long-term weed management plan. So we find this is very important when we disturb the soil.
Sure.
Oftentimes weed seeds capitalize, and we really don't want to trade off one environmental problem, dying trees or dead trees or fuels, a wildfire story, for a noxious weed invasion.
Right.
So we have this criteria where we hold back 10% of the reimbursement for 2 years. And this is just to make sure that the properties end up substantially weed-free after the installation or the project conclusion, so that we end up with a better outcome rather than a new issue to deal with.
Right, sure.
So those are a few of the items, but mostly it's submit, reach out to the CSU Extension Office, I'm Dan Schroeder, and obtain the pre-application. And then we'll have you fill out the pre-application, make sure you know all of the requirements, and then we'll give you the full application, which is due at the end of May.
Okay, and I think it may sound like, oh, there's a pre-application and then there's another application, but one of the benefits of that pre-application process is that people get to have the benefit of your expertise in fire mitigation. So all of the expertise that your office houses, as well as the expertise from the fire agencies, to really come up with a project that kind of moves the needle.
We would like to move the needle. And this isn't just free money and let's go willy-nilly. This is a planned out, really exacting program that has strict criteria. This is public funds, and so we need to be very appropriately allocating these funds, and we want to make sure the program or the proposed applications meet the objectives of our community wildfire protection plan.
Right, and the investment by the residents involved, the property owners involved, is really something that's going to up their level of protection too. That's the the intended outcome. Excellent. Okay, so remind us again, what's the deadline for that pre-application?
Sure. So I have a date. It's Friday, April 28th, but really what it is the last Friday of April.
Okay.
So you have an entire month still, all of the month of April, to go to the Summit County government website and find the CSU extension pages, obtain the pre-application, or people can call the CSU extension office and we can email or get the communication going. And then the last Friday of April, pre-applications are due. And then we just jump 1 month. The last Friday of May is when the full application is due. That would require the weed management plan, which by the way is very easy. We have you working with the weed management department before pictures, maps of the proposed project area.
Yeah, also a great source of expertise, our weed management department.
Indeed, and we work closely with those guys as well because this is a natural resource issue, and we are all these natural resource departments trying to work together so that we have an idea of what's happening out there in Summit County.
Great. Anything else that you'd like to add about the program, Dan?
We really like to make sure that this is a well-known opportunity. So people who are reviewing today, really it'd be great if you shared this opportunity with your neighbors, your friends, whether or not you're going to apply. Help us disseminate this information. That would be really my biggest ask.
All right.
Is that you help us get this more knowledge about wildfire prevention out there.
All right, fantastic. Well, thanks so much for coming in and talking to us about this great program. And I'm sure we'll see you here in the SCTV studio again sometime soon to spread the word on the chipping program.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Dan. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll take you behind the scenes of the operations of the Dillon Dam.